Greetings duelists and welcome to another video. So we're back to talking about Dracotail. Doom of Dimensions is now TCG legal. It has been the first weekend since its release. And we got quite a few things to talk about. If you saw my last deck report, you saw that I'm playing a Dracotail variant that involves Phryxul. And at first glance, I thought Phryxul was not going to be a big contributor to Dracotail. I didn't think the ability that it provided for the deck was something that the deck actually needed. I didn't think it raised the ceiling of the deck enough. But after some thorough testing, I found just a few niche uses for Phryxul that are actually really fascinating. This is not to say Phryxul changes the deck entirely, or Phryxul makes the dynamic of the deck a lot more stronger than it used to be, but I'm gonna show you some combos and some abilities that were not known in the Shaddoll version of Dracotail. But because of Phryxul, they are now enabled. So the first thing I'm going to bring up is when it comes to Dracotail, same as many other fusion decks, this deck is extremely streamlined. It's not really streamlined. You have to freestyle your combos, figure out which pieces of the deck are you going to interact with first, whether or not you want to dedicate your normal summon on certain strategies, whether or not you want to play around certain hand traps, because Dracotail is a very fragile deck. One wrong move and you might get hit with a certain card that will just end your turn, but if you do the right play, and you can end up playing around most cards, and even to a point where you just get your entire setup. So this is a normal hand, at least for the deck list that I've provided. Some Dracotail builds are playing King of the Swamp, some are not, but Phryxul, Urgula, Flame, and Lucius is just normal for Dracotail. So I'm just gonna start with this hand first. So we pitch King of the Swamp, that's going to add Polymerization. And now we're going to activate the Polymerization, and we're going to fuse. Can you guess which materials are we going to use and which monster are we going to summon into? You got a couple of seconds. 3, 2, 1. We're going to make Ithalion, and we're going to use Urgula and Lucius. We're going to keep the Phryxul in our hand because we want to get the most abilities or the most benefit out of all our entire hand. So now we're going to chain block between our Ithalion and the two Dracotails. We're going to add King of the Swamp, we're going to add back Urgula, and we're going to set 2. So if you notice here, our Lucius has not been normal summoned or special summoned yet. And we have both Dracotail spell cards. What we're going to do now is we're going to normal the Phryxul. Phryxul is going to normal the Lucius. Lucius is going to trigger. The Phryxul is going to go back to her hand. And the Lucius is going to add us 5 mana. The reason we're doing this play is because this checks for hand traps to a good substantial amount. If they have a way to stop Phryxul, they will stop the Phryxul. Because Phryxul into Lucius into 5 mana, that's already a lot of pluses. And now your 5 mana is live for other fusion plays on your opponent's next turn, and we haven't flipped our spell cards yet. If Phryxul was actually stopped, then we have Rahu and we have Ketu to keep going with our Dracotail plays. Now, let's go and continue. We're going to grab the Lucius and the Ithalion, and we're going to link them away into Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep has been known to be seen play in a lot of Dracotail builds. This is basically the same utility that was used back in tournaments with Sprite Elf. This card is just going to be one of those cards that is just going to give you a lot of card advantage. It's just going to make a lot of combos a lot more streamlined. So, we digress. We're now going to 5 mana. We're going to use the Phryxul and the King of the Swamp. And we're going to summon Gremlin. To our understanding, we haven't used the Phryxul yet as a material. So we're going to trigger Phryxul's effect and we're going to trigger the Grab with Null. Grab Null is going to send Akalone and Phryxul is going to set the Dracotail Horn. So now we're going to incorporate Shaddolls into the mix. If you guys have been paying attention to this channel, Shaddolls are like my favorite engine for Dracotail. I like it more than Branded. I like it more than like other hybrids because it just enables you a lot of card advantage. It gives you utility for both players' turns, and it even gives you a very oppressive play in the form of Winda. So we're going to Akalone. Akalone is going to add Wendy, and we're going to send Wendy to the graveyard. Wendy is going to activate. Wendy is going to summon Shaddoll Hedgehog from the deck. We're now going to flip the Rahu Dracotail. Rahu is going to use the Urgula, it's going to use the Malulu, and we're going to summon Gulamel. Now the Crossship is going to trigger same as the Malulu. Malulu is going to set us a second K2 Dracotail, and the Crossship is going to bring back the Malulu. Now we're going to flip the K2 Dracotail. The K2 Dracotail is going to add us the Pan. The reason we're adding Pan specifically is because Urgula is already in our graveyard. So we're going to use the Urgula, it's going to grab us back the 5 mana. If you want to check for more hand traps, you should try to do Urgula first. And if they actually respond to the Urgula, then you flip the K2. But I think we're at a point where if all of this is resolving, then you should be perfectly fine. Like, why wouldn't you go spell a Lab Cologne searching Shaddoll Schism? Right? So, we got both traps, and yeah, this is our setup. If we 5 mana on our opponent's turn, we can, or if we use from the Malulu, the Crossship can bring back the Phryxul, and the Phryxul can bring back the Lucius, and the Lucius can just bring something else back. We can 5 mana into Winda using the Hedgehog and the Malulu as well. Both trap cards and the Malulu and the 5 mana are 4 different triggers, so it's going to be very, very hard to stop this Gulamel from like activating. This is basically every setup that you want in the Dracotail deck. Now, are there specific combos involving Phryxul? Is Phryxul going to be good as a combo enabler for some other specific combos that are not just like freestyle? I think so. So we have Blazing Cartesia and Phryxul. This combo is going to be very familiar for some people. When I first showcased the Shaddoll Dracotail deck, I did combos involving Cartesia and Malulu. Phryxul basically enables you another attribute besides Malulu for Blazing Cartesia to make Gremlin Null. So we're going to Cartesia with Phryxul, we're going to use Gremlin Null, and we're going to use the Phryxul. We're going to set the Rahu, we're going to set Akalone for Hedgehog, Hedgehog for Squamata. So you're probably familiar with this part. I already showed this on the first combo showcase in this channel. So now we're going to do Rahu for Squamata, we're going to send the 5 mana, and we're going to summon our Thalion. We're going to trigger Squamata, square the 5 mana, the Arthalion is going to grab back the 5 mana. So 5 minutes added back to hand. We're going to set the K2, and we're going to send Wendy. Wendy is going to trigger, that's going to summon us another Shaddoll. And now we flip K2. K2 is going to grab us the Malulu. And we go to end phase, and then we grab Blazing Cartesia. So if you look at this setup, we can make Winda on our opponent's turn, we can make Secretariat Dragon, we can make Gulamel, we can make Arthalion. Like, we have a lot of options. And this was all thanks to Phryxul. Malulu probably would have done the same thing, but just having the actual attribute in order to just recycle Blazing Cartesia, give you extra special summons, give you the ability to infuse into like 4 different cards. It's something you kind of want in Dracotail. It's not super easy to do this setup like in the regular hand trap build. Now, another thing I really like about Phryxul, and I already covered it on the last video, is thanks to Phryxul, Rahu is now a very, very strong card as an opener, as opposed to past formats. Well, not fast format, like the past build of the deck, where Rahu is not typically the fusion spell you kind of want to start with. This combo will specifically use King of the Swamp. You'll understand why. You Rahu for this, you send the Lucius. This is going to summon Arthalion. Arthalion is going to grab back the King of the Swamp. Lucius is going to set. We set the K2. We flip the K2. K2 is going to grab us the Phryxul. We're going to normal the Phryxul. Phryxul for Lucius. The Phryxul goes back to our hand. We activate the Lucius. That's going to add us 5 mana. We can 5 mana away the Phryxul and the King of the Swamp. That makes us Grandwing Null. Grandwing Null will trigger. Phryxul will trigger. We are just showing you the different options. And this could be Garura. This could be Grandwing Null. Apkalone. This could be Shaddoll Construct. Like, there's a lot of options. It really just depends on the rest of your hand. This is why I say you kind of have to freestyle these combos. But yeah, this is a lot just because of one Rahu alongside King of the Swamp. Like, Phryxul is just a very creative card. Now, this is the last combo that I'll show. This involves Blazing Cartesia and just any Dracotail with any normal monster or any monster. We're using a second Blazing Cartesia as an example here because the current builder deck has a lot of different monsters that just enables you a lot of different plays involving what you end up with. So we're going to Blazing Cartesia, we're going to fuse into Arthalion. We're going to Arthalion, grabbing back the Lucius and the Blazing Cartesia. We're going to set the K2. We're going to grab these two. We're going to make Cross Sheep. We're going to flip the Rahu. We're going to send the Phryxul. We're going to summon Gulamel. And this combo is very familiar already. It's just a backwards version. We're going to set the K2. We're going to bring back the Phryxul. Phryxul is going to bring back the Lucius. The Lucius is going to trigger to grab 5 mana. We're going to activate the Ketu. That's going to grab us Malulu. And now we're going to 5 mana. We're going to fuse away Cartesia and Malulu. And that's going to make Grandwing Null. We're going to Grandwing Null and Malulu. Malulu set, and that is going to send. We're going to send with Akal. We're going to add with Akalone. We're going to send the card. And this is the combo. And Blazing Cartesia now goes back to her hand. So our opponent's turn, we're going to Schism. And this Schism is going to give us a lot of different creative avenues. There's a lot of different lines involving this now. As opposed to just regular lines that just summon Winda. Like one example is we can banish Apkalone and Blazing Cartesia to summon Construct. With that triggers the Cross Sheep to bring back Malulu. We can banish the Malulu and we can make Winda. This triggers the Cross Sheep to summon Blazing Cartesia. We're going to do my favorite one, which is banishing here for the Construct. And now the Construct will trigger and the Cross Sheep will trigger. We're going to send Hedgehog. We're going to summon Phryxul. Hedgehog is going to trigger. Phryxul is going to trigger. Phryxul brings back the 5 mana. The Hedgehog is going to add us Skomara. And if you look at like this current situation here, this can make Winda. This can make Arthalion. This can make Secretarian Dragon. Very similar to the last combo. The Gulamel gets the trigger. Like, the Arsalium gets the trigger from the graveyard. Like, there's a lot we can do here. Like, this is one the best example. We have Winda, we have Squamata. Squamata can send any of these Shaddolls, and all these Shaddolls can become destruction for your opponent. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, the conclusion here is that Phryxul at first glance doesn't look like a lot for the Dracotail deck, but in actuality, it really does create a flux of different interactions. I know that for a fact that the Shaddoll build is my favorite build of Dracotail at the moment, and Phryxul is just a more than a welcomed card in this version. But yeah, feel free to let me know if you found other creative things to do with Phryxul. I know that there are branded combos involving Phryxul that are really neat. I know there are combos with like other strategies that just makes Phryxul a better card. But yeah, keep being creative. I know that I probably won't be disappointed with what you guys find when testing around with this card. But until then, keep practicing and keep dueling.